Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, welcome everyone. This is the second edition of our weekly webinar series that we're going to be doing. I'm Chase Beach. I'm a co-founder and CEO of InsurGrid, and today I have with me someone very near and dear to my heart, my own mom, and the inspiration behind InsurGrid. Mom, how about you introduce yourself to everyone?
Hi, I'm Kim Beach, and I own an independent insurance agency in Cincinnati, Ohio called Erie Insurance is my main company. I don't know if you've heard of it out on the West Coast, kind of a 12-state regional kind of company out of Erie, Pennsylvania.
Awesome. Well, I think
do you want to know more?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people know the InsurGrid story or the Beach family history in insurance, but I'll do a quick refresher for everyone who doesn't know. The Beach family has been in, I like to say my fun trivia fact is that my family has been in the insurance industry since 1876, when my great-great-grandfather started insurance agency in upstate New York. And my family, my mom has carried on the torch along with my dad in Cincinnati, running their independent insurance agency. And the idea for InsurGrid that I'll get into in a little bit, and we'll talk about leading up to that, is, from a conversation with you, Mom. And so before we get into InsurGrid and everything and the idea, would love to get your side of the story. When you met Dad, back in whenever you met him, what was the Beach family insurance? What was going on in the Beach family with insurance? And then, coming up to today, how have you been involved and kind of how, what's your side of the story?
Okay. I don't think you've ever asked me that really.
Yeah.
So I met my husband at a very young age. He came from an insurance company or insurance family background. And to be quite honest, I thought he was really rich because he was in the insurance business and they went on all these trips. And, I think his dad just sold a lot of big cases. But basically he had a property and casualty agency, but really was a life insurance guy. So when my husband graduated from college, he also became more of a life insurance guy, did some property and casualty, but kind of focused on that. Then eventually got into the group health insurance business. And my main background was actually working for a local television station. I worked for the CBS affiliate. So that was kind of my path before Chase came along, and then he had a brother, and I actually stayed home with both of them for about 15 years and then went back to work for the TV station, but eventually was drawn back into the insurance business with my husband. So have been doing that for several years. And again, I'm focusing pretty much on property and casualty, which had not been done for a while in our family business. So Chase is super curious, and one Christmas, I guess, he was home and just kind of asking me, how's it going? What's your problem? Where's your pain points? And I'm like, okay, this whole like trying to get deck pages is crazy. It's just totally crazy. Like, so that's kind of where it came to fruition. And maybe Chase, you want to take it from there, or ask a different question or.
Yeah, well, I'd love to kind of even dig into a little bit more of, the Beach family in life insurance and CT, my grandfather, what type of insurance salesman was he? And maybe my question to you is, what do you see the difference between life insurance and property and casualty? I think a lot of people, it's an either or, but you have had experience in both the life insurance space and property and casualty. So would love to learn, I don't know, a little bit more about my family history and what they were like as a salesman, and then the difference you see between life insurance and property and casualty.
So the couple of generations that I have been exposed to with the Beach family, as far as life insurance, is super paper, lots of paper. Like I'm still my husband to get rid of all these file cabinets and paper. So it's interesting to me just how backwards the industry has been and still continues to be. I do think the property and casualty business is a little more cutting edge with some of the technology that's coming out, including InsurGrid. So I think that I have a paperless office, which I think blows my husband's mind. But so, I mean, just long lead time with life insurance, obviously, a lot of upfront loaded commissions where property and casualty is recurring revenue, which was kind of appealing to me.
Yeah, and so really stepping into the property and casualty space, I'm curious what were the things that you saw that were really maybe alarming or that you were really surprised by, given that it was 2018 when you really started ramping up your property and casualty book?
Yeah, I think I was just blown away by when somebody from Erie came in and they're like, okay, you have to sit down and ask somebody all these questions. I was like, what? Like, I don't know. It just kind of floored me that in, today's world, there wasn't a simpler process for that. So, and that's definitely one thing that I didn't know going into it was just the level of detail that you have to get. And a lot of this information to me, it was like that information is out there somewhere. Like, why are we having to repeat this process all the time? I thought that blew my mind. That, and secondarily, just the whole male domination of, okay, that sounds very odd, but just kind of, to me, male 80-20, both agents and also decision makers. That's kind of what was not alarming to me, but interesting to me, that in today's world, more women were not taking control of the insurance process. I don't know, what you guys think about that, who's on the call, but that's what I saw or see even.
And I'm curious, really getting into the property and casualty, what were things that you saw that consumers, you realize, like talking to people, getting them their personal lines insurance, like what are things that they have no idea about that they probably should, and that it's just something that they never even thought of? Do you have anything that comes to mind?
I think most people just want to check the box when it comes to insurance, and they have no idea what their coverages are, what their deductibles are, really what they have. They just kind of, it's interesting. They just want to kind of get through the process and check the box. So that was kind of interesting to me. And even people, that I'd say were pretty on top of things had no idea. If they had money, assets, they may not have an umbrella coverage. So just kind of people's resistance to even know about it was
Yeah,
interesting.
I guess, and this is turning into a dinner table conversation, like all these questions, but maybe I think that's kind of the point, though. But you mentioned something that if someone has assets, that they should have an umbrella policy. Like, can you walk us through what does that mean? What do you mean by that? What type of assets? And then what is an umbrella policy? People that are going to be watching this, maybe they're new to insurance, and so yeah, maybe just tell me more about that.
Yeah. So people that have assets, I mean, obviously you have insurance and you have liability insurance on your auto and your home. But if you have assets, I don't know, obviously over coverage you have. If you have 250, 500 coverage, meaning the most you're going to get, like if you're in an auto accident is 500,000, but you have you even have $1 million or, whatever you have, if you don't have an umbrella to kind of cover over that coverage. So an umbrella will cover over both of those coverages with higher limits of liability insurance. So you want to make sure you're covered. Otherwise, if somebody comes after you, they can get your house, or, if you don't have enough insurance to back that up.
Yeah. And I know that Erie Insurance really does a good job of bringing that to the light, bringing that to light, that you need more than maybe just your auto or home insurance. Why do people, not get umbrella policies? What would you say the main reasons are?
They're not asked, probably,
Right.
I'd say is, yeah, number one.
And so I guess, does that come down to insurance agents? Because if they have, if they have an extra product to sell, obviously that's more premium. Why do you think insurance agents, uh, why do you think they don't bring up the conversation of an umbrella policy?
Mm, I think because they want to just get done what they want to get done. It's like, if somebody just wants home and auto, they don't want to kind of rock the boat. So they may not bring it up.
Right. Interesting. And I see this a lot. I mean, obviously I talk to a lot of insurance agents every day, and some of them are just trying to get policies written as quickly as possible. For an example, a lot of agents that InsurGrid works with, they get a lot of leads from loan officers. And so they're it's a new home buyer. And so they're writing home insurance, and they just want to write that home insurance policy right away. And maybe they'll get to the auto down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So there's really no emphasis on a real policy review because it's a speed thing. But I'm curious, like your experience, like what do you think step by step is the best way for a consumer to get their insurance renewed? If someone's watching this who's a consumer that's never had their insurance reviewed, if you have the microphone, like what would you tell them? What would you tell them to do?
Well, obviously in this, what?
Besides call you.
Yeah, don't call. I'm not big on the phone, but which is why I like InsurGrid, because the number one thing, that needs to happen is people have to have access to their information. I think there are still people out there that are like, don't want to call their agent, they don't want to renew or review their insurance because they're like, oh my gosh, I'll have to call my agent to get my information. I think people are even like still confused about their agent and their agency versus the insurance company.
Right.
Like they think, most of the time that I'm the insurance company. They don't understand, that there's two separate entities. I'm kind of the middleman. So number one, I say, is people having access and transparency from the insurance company. There's no transparency with insurance companies because insurance companies don't want people to have access because then they'll start moving. So, I think just get a hold of your information, your declaration pages, and then obviously you can shop that to any agent.
Yeah. So getting the declaration pages is key. And to you as an agent, what is the significance of having the declaration page? Agents tell me sometimes, well, all I need is their date of birth and their driver's license number, and I can give them a quote. What would you say to an agent like that in the value of having the?
Yeah. Well, having the declaration pages kind of gives you the answer to the test. What their coverages are, what they're paying, because sometimes you might quote them, either you're going to quote them less than what they currently have, which is not, which is doing them a disservice. Or if you kind of overquote them, if you give them more coverage than they have, it's going to be more expensive. And they're going to be like, I'm not going with that. That's more expensive. So when you're able to do a side-by-side comparison, which is what I do a lot, I have a spreadsheet to show, where you are now, what we're giving you and the difference in coverage, then people resonate with that.
Yeah. We all know the experience when consumers send you their declaration pages and they either white out or black out.
I love that.
Where is that disconnect with consumers, and why does it not matter that you see their premium amount?
Yeah, I don't know why people are like that. They think that you're going to be, I don't know. I guess maybe they just think you are going to give them less coverage to kind of come in at that. Again, I think it's just a whole transparency and education thing. People don't understand insurance. So they think it's all like price driven, but they don't realize that there's a balance between the premium and the coverage that they're getting.
Right. Yeah, they don't understand that the State Department of Ohio, the State Department of Insurance for that state, they're the ones that sets the limits, not you the agent. I think that's really interesting. Right. Talking more about the consumer, what are some tips and tricks maybe that consumers can look at to make sure that they at least have basic coverage? Are there any things that you see that at least a consumer should check for on their current insurance policy that's like a no-brainer, that if they don't have it, they need to contact their agent or contact another agent? Is there anything that comes to mind?
To be honest, not, I don't know, not that comes to mind. Is there something that you're thinking of?
Well, I'm thinking, a lot of times maybe people, they don't have uninsured motorist, water backup on the home.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
I guess repurposing my question, are there certain gaps that maybe a direct writer, or if you're getting a quick quote, they might overlook that could come back to bite you if you're not really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, the things that you mentioned, but also then like jewelry, that may not get covered, if something happens, with, personal property like that needs to be scheduled. I see that a lot. Yeah. And like you mentioned, the sewer and drain, if people don't have sewer and drain coverage, or just looking at all the car. I mean, some people think they have earthquake coverage that maybe they don't. Some people may have it and don't want it. So yeah, you really need to kind of look at all the coverages.
Yeah. Can you tell me more about water and sewage backup coverage? And what
I
is
know,
that?
such an exciting thing to talk about, huh?
Yeah, it's important.
But it is important because if you don't put sewer and drain coverage on somebody and they have a finished basement, let's say they have carpeting and drywall. I mean, they could have a $30,000-$50,000 basement. So if you don't have the appropriate sewer and drain coverage for that, I know there's some companies that have like 100% of coverage A, which I think is pretty amazing. I don't like going against those companies because it's hard to put that much sewer and drain coverage on somebody. But yeah, I mean, I think clients are definitely, if something happens, they just assume automatically if something happens in their house that it's going to be covered. But if you don't have that endorsement on there, then it will not be.
Right.
Brown water versus clear water. That's what they say.
Tell me more about that. What does that?
If it's clear water, it's normally covered. If it's brown water, that means that it's coming up from the sewer. So, and if you don't have coverage, it will not be covered.
Okay, that's good to know.
Great dinner conversation.
Yeah, that's good to know. I mean, you obviously have, Erie insurance agents that you work with, and, different agents that you come across in your networking groups. What's one thing that every insurance agent that they don't do that they should be doing?
I think a lot of insurance agents don't qualify prospects. I think everybody wants to kind of run quotes and, get stuff back to people. But I think qualifying people up front, are they, bad drivers or they have bad credit? I mean, because you can put in a lot of work. And again, if you have information on them, it makes it a lot easier to know what kind of person that you're dealing with. I mean, as far as like their deck pages. So I definitely think trying to qualify people up front is something that agents kind of overlook.
Yeah. And so qualifying someone up front is just really understanding their driving history.
Claim history.
Yeah. And, looking at, obviously you've been in the business and out of the business for a long time. What are, the different like consumers, the way that they're buying, how is that changing? How have you seen that change?
Yeah, I mean, just obviously with all the online, options now. I mean, you've got Lemonade, you've got Gabby out there. I mean, kind of everybody's trying to get into this space because there's so much money in it. Obviously, drive down the road, all these cars are covered, all these homes are covered. So, I mean, watch television on College Game Day. It's Geico, it's State Farm. I mean, they're all on there because there's so much money in this business. So, I think the industry is definitely evolving with some of these new companies. And so, and as these, younger millennials and everything who don't call anybody and who do everything online. I mean, things are changing. And I definitely think, agents have to evolve with that. And if you don't, you're going to get left behind because people are not going to do business the way they used to.
Right. Right. And obviously, I started InsurGrid from that conversation that we had at the dinner table on Christmas, in 2018. You were telling me about this pain that you have of having to collect this information from the insured to qualify them, and how people just don't know what they have. And, we built InsurGrid to make it easy to collect that information, to collect those declaration pages. And, since using the product, and this isn't a paid promotion, everyone, what value do you see from, consumers using a platform like InsurGrid or just technology in general? Because I know you use things like JotForm as well.
Yeah, I think anything that can take away the friction of involving the consumer in trying to get this information. I mean, just like I said before, like people don't want to have to call their agent, and they may not be savvy enough to have an online account. Or just, and InsurGrid, is great because it obviously kind of walks people through getting an online account if they don't have one. But and that also speeds up the process, which obviously then you can make more sales. So just again, I think just that cutting down on that time when you have a conversation with somebody like, hey, great, yeah, I want you to look at my insurance. Okay, well, this is what I need. So how, if you guys are on here and are agents, that process could take one day, or process could take 1 year. I mean, I definitely have had people where I'm chasing them like for a year, in which, at some point I probably should give up, but not my nature. So just, yeah, having the ability to speed that process up just takes friction out of my life and the consumer's life.
Yeah. Yeah. Making it easier for the consumer to do business with you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you love most about being an insurance agency owner?
Honestly, it comes down to like helping people. I mean, we live in a small town. I mean, I do business with a lot of just local people. I mean, like the crossing guard came to me and she wanted me to help with her insurance, and I was able to save her a couple $100. Like that makes me feel good. That makes me feel like I'm helping my community. So I know that sounds corny, but it's probably the truth.
And what do you see for the future of insurance? As an agent, some people think that all insurance is going to be bought online with robots, or these direct to consumer startups that are getting $1 billion valuations. What do you say to that, of where the agent fits?
I still, I think the agent's always going to be around, because just with the complexity of it and the different coverages, if there is not somebody to guide you, then what's going to happen is there are going to be bad claims, and then the consumer is going to, get upset. And then because they're going to say that I wasn't guided properly, and then the companies are going to be liable. So I really sense that there is always going to be an agent in the middle that can help the consumer and be the go-between between the company and the consumer. I do think, technology is going to change the way business is done, but I also think it's still a people business, and people want to turn to somebody, when something goes wrong. When somebody has an accident on Christmas Day, like what happened with with a client of mine this year, and I get a call. I mean, I'm going to take that call because it's important to my client, and they don't want to call an 800 number when something like that happens.
Right. Yeah. And some, you sell, other products, other than property and casualty. And a lot of agents that I speak to want to know, how can they cross sell other products? And, a dinner conversation that we were having when I was home was talking about long-term care. And so
Right.
I'm curious, this is a product that people also need. And, how do agents get into selling a product like this?
Well, again, it's just having a conversation with them about the need, depending on their age. And, sadly, I'm in the age of thinking about long-term care. I actually have a policy.
Tell us about long-term care, though, for maybe not familiar.
Okay, so yeah, long-term care insurance basically will cover any kind of home health care or nursing home care, assisted living care, for people, if they have basically 2 of 6 activities of daily living that they can't do, like bathing and walking and, different things. So it's just a way, again, to use insurance to put the risk on the insurance company. And right now with long-term care insurance, like 70% of people that age 65 and over are going to need some sort of long-term care, at some point in their life. And that is, normally looks about 2 to 3 years. And, that can be like $10,000 a month at a nursing home. So, and most people want to stay home. So obviously home health care, could be even more expensive.
Right.
So it's a big need. And obviously as we all age and we all live longer, it's going to be the haves and the have-nots. It's going to be the people that have long-term care insurance and that don't. I mean, I deal with people, at these facilities, and that's the first question that they ask is, do you have long-term care insurance? So definitely something to think about if you haven't looked at it.
And how do agents get, how would an agent go about, they have an aging book of business, how would they go about, selling long-term care?
Yeah, I would just start target marketing to that age group and, get some good, I mean, there's great companies out there, One America, Lincoln with MoneyGuard. I mean, definitely, just, start having a conversation, basically. One America has a lot of great stuff.
One America. Okay. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You've been working on something for the past couple months that you're really excited about, and I know you're not launching till March 8th. But if you could give a preview maybe to the audience, would love to learn more about what you're up to.
Okay, can I share my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm sharing the right screen, huh? All right. So I think one of the things that I was talking about was just this kind of male dominated decision-making process. And so one thing that kind of came to my mind was if it's all these men, in these more in married situations, we're making the decision, then maybe I should think about the women who have to make the decision. So I basically, kind of with Chase's help, I'd have to say, came up with Insure Women. So this is going to be a company that is focused specifically on marketing and assisting women in the insurance buying process, and really just empowering women to learn more and be bold in their decisions and feel comfortable with the whole insurance process, which again, I don't think most people are. So, but I'm launching it, on March 8th which is International Women's Day. So I'm pretty excited, and I'm going to be taking it across the country. So look for an Insure Woman agent in your neck of the woods soon.
Yeah, tell me more about that. I know that you're really passionate about empowering women to educate themselves about insurance, and you're also want to empower other women agents to reach out to the local community of women to educate them. So tell me more. If I'm an agent, how I'm a woman, how can I get involved with Insure Women?
I mean, contact me, or once it's up and going, there's going to be actually a partner tab on the website. So I mean, and this is not all been set yet, but basically it'll be kind of a platform that'll be available to kind of one woman agent in a certain geographic area that they can use, and I'm going to provide content for social media and articles that you can leverage out in your community, and just give you ideas on how to reach women in your market.
Awesome. And what inspired you really to start Insure Women, to really think about Insure Women?
I mean, like I said, it just seeing how many women don't know about insurance. And again, this passion, I think, for single women who, I don't want to say they're underserved, but, just to give them more confidence and give them, the ability to make good decisions and feel good about it.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right, Mom, I know we're at time. I know you're a busy woman.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, everyone joining, Chris or Selim, if you want to, hop in, love to answer any questions, or maybe if there's anything that was on your mind, we'd love to, open up the discussion at least for a little bit, or if there's any questions.
I don't think I have any questions right now.
Awesome. Well, Mom, thank you. Kim, Village
Yes, you're
Insurance,
welcome.
Insure Women, thank you so much for your time. This has been fun.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Dad's gonna be jealous that I talked to you first about insurance.
Of course.
All right, but everyone, thank you for joining. And yeah, we're gonna be doing this every Thursday, and we're gonna have different topics, and really just empowering insurance agents and consumers to educate themselves, because everyone deserves the right insurance sold by the right agent. So we're gonna be around, and thanks everyone for your time. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Thanks.